right, everybody, what's good? Hey, I'm back. I hope y'all are enjoying yourselves. All right, all right, y'all know the rules. I got to get this. It's always that last platform. It's always one. I know. It's always one. All right, but today we are going to talk about teamwork makes the dream work. So, of course, it's part of my Why I Wrote These Books series. It's available now wherever books are sold. We are talking about today's episode is talking about the anthologies I have been in, including this award-winning beauty right here, Triumph of My Soul, Soul of a Man 1, which won some more awards. Gotta make sure all the cameras can see. These are all the books I'm going to talk about today. Now, I'm not going to read each of the stories. I'm not going to get into deep synopsises. This is Weary and Will. I did this with my urban Christian label mate, Cheryl Kaiser Jackson. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love working with her. Soul of a Man 2. Y'all, yes, with Alyssa Gabriel. She's behind Triumph of My Soul and Soul of a Man 1. And I am going to talk about romance for the streets. This one's a little different, and I'm explaining it at the end. All right. But I think when I first came out in the 90s, it was a thing to get into anthologies. People were doing more different. What's up, light skinned man? Thank you. Thank you for supporting. Um, Follow your content as well. Y'all check them out. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, people in the 90s, it was kind of like the hidden, um, that was kind of like the hidden secret weapon. If you were an author that wanted to get out there, thank you for the likes, like, share, follow, subscribe. I'm on 3 different platforms. So if it sounds like I'm telling everybody to do everything crazy, that's why. These are the books I wrote, books I'm selling, but I'm talking about anthologies, but I'm talking about the 90s. That was how we found new authors. I don't have a copy of the anthology Terry McMillan did, and don't y'all shoot me in these comments, but she kind of reintroduced everybody to that. And then Elon Harris had a anthology he did called Gumbo. And then when urban fiction street lit was like the genre to watch and to follow, and all of a sudden everybody was in anthologies. In the early 2000s, there was a big self-publishing boom. Zane, Victoria Christopher Murray, Rashana Tate Billingsley, all these major national best-selling authors started out self-publishing. I remember when a lot of them started out self-publishing because I was out there with them, and it was like a lot of people. It was a thing to collab. You might have 2 or 3 authors jump on an anthology. You might have 10 authors jump on an anthology, and like I said, it was a catalog builder. So for a lot of authors, and something I noticed is different now with authors that are publishing, it's kind of like the same thing with R&B and rap. It's kind of everybody is me, myself, and I. I don't want to team up. I don't want to collab. Thank you for the likes, man. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Um, no one wants to team up and collab. And like even now, it's been a hard time getting more people to work together and do things together. Hey, y'all, let me step out real quick. I'm just going to step away just a minute. Don't leave because I'm not going to leave out. Yes, I heard you. I heard you in these comments. Y'all, look. Yeah, I heard you. Y'all, I heard you. I heard you. Oh my God. Here is the problem. I do these books, I do these lives, I sell these books. Oh, man. Oh, my God. Yes, I'm still here. I know y'all hear me. I'm loud as all get out. Yeah. Hold on, y'all. Oh, my God. Yes. Okay. So check it. I know I cannot do this live without talking about. Thank you for not leaving. I could not do this live without talking about this book. I saw y'all. I heard y'all. How come? Yes, one of my best selling, and I do have a paperback copy, so I'm going to have to do like I did last time. I'll have to show you guys the paperback. Hold on. How can I forget? I know I heard y'all. I heard y'all. Big Head right here. One of my best selling collabs, Where the Players Dwell. I see the Kindles. Y'all be liking that book on Kindle. Man, I don't know where my copy of that book is. I have a copy of the old school cover with the man in the suit, and it's a blue, pinkish blue cover with the pink background. It's a light skinned man wearing a suit. Yeah, I got that too. But I'm gonna tell y'all real quick how I got into these anthologies. I've been trying to do anthologies for years. And the first anthology I was able to get into was Triumph of My Soul. Yeah, no, this is not Blue Phi. So for my friends that are Sigmas, don't I'm Alpha. Don't come in my comments with that. Anyway, I did this with Triumph of My Soul, and I was a little nervous because at this time I was known for writing young adult fiction, and I was pretty good and kind of established as a young adult fiction writer. So I had written all of these, Worth Fighting For, Never Too Much, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. Um, it was called 5 Miles to Empty back then, now known as Boys for Life. I had written all these books back then, right? And I was getting ready to release my first faith fiction novel. So I want to say I did this before I did He Changed the Game, which y'all know has Nelson Davis, Mr. Tubi, on the cover. Um, that book is now called Blessed Not Stressed. So before that book came out, I did this one. I think this one actually got to be published first. And found out people like Christian fiction from me. And I can do multiple books under different genres. So after this one, an opportunity, she wanted to do an all women's anthology and an all men's anthology. And this one right here, definitely Triumph of My Soul is the foundation. They stand like this. Triumph of My Soul is the foundation, but this book right here is the one that got a lot of people's attention because you had a lot of major authors on it. And working with Alyssa Gabriel and learning how to publish is one thing I will say. She taught me how to be a better marketer, and she actually got me into believing myself a little bit more, because a lot of times when I was out here doing these marketing events and stuff like that, I was still a little shy, I was still a little humble. But she's like, no, I got you in this anthology for a reason. And so shout out to Alyssa Gabriel. I really appreciate a lot. She's done a lot for me. And that's one of the advantages to being in an anthology. It's like, let's count. I forgot how. I want to say it's 17 of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, it was 17 of us in this anthology for sure, but it was 14 of us in this anthology. So and you figure Alyssa Gabriel is a major national best-selling author in her own right. She's been in Um, Purple Panties by Zane. She's been in a lot of major anthologies in her own right. And then she, as part of her collective, was promoting other anthologies. So, very much gateway. People love this anthology so much that majority of us came back again and did this one. And I want to say it's a few new names, but most of us came back and did Soul of a Man too, which obviously got even more love and props. And then let me tell you, continued to be a learning experience. And like I said, I've always appreciated what she's done, and it's always been able to keep my name out. Now, my first two anthologies I did with Alyssa Gabriel, I was still using the Gerald Imes name because I was still known for writing young adult books. But then when we started building this name, when we did Isaiah David Paul, I was known as the gritty faith fiction author, and I'm still am. I still love the Lord, but I write this street. It got street vibes in my faith fiction novels. So this is the first book I did with her as Isaiah David Paul, and it's been a successful journey. They went on to do Soul of a Man 3. And no, it was no shade, it was no animosity. At the time, Soul of a Man 3 came out, and I talk about that in my book, Why I Wrote These Books, actually. When Soul of a Man 3 came out, and at the time she was getting everything together, I did not own the rights to my name anymore. Those of you who know, I went through a divorce, and at the time, that was one of the conditions of the divorce was that I give up my pen name. By time she had gotten the project together, put it out and stuff like that, I hadn't gotten the name back fully yet. So it would be, you know, as I want to say, she dropped the anthology for Soul of a Man 3. I want to say she did 2020 or 2021. I don't quite remember which year, but that's why I'm not in Soul of a Man 3. It's not that I didn't want to or wouldn't have done it if the opportunity presented itself, but maybe there's another anthology opportunity. She knows I would do another one with her. She knows I'm back on my grind, back in the game. Um, while we were doing Soul of a Man 1 and 2, I had another chance as I was building my faith fiction um, name and getting out there and linking up with my future urban Christian label mates. I did an anthology called Weary and Will with a number of phenomenal faith fiction writers. Some of these writers are still writing today: Charlene Anderson, Andrea Davis, Janelle G. Francis Johnson, Sheila Lipsy, Sherlyn Shahid, Judine Slaughter, of course, Cheryl Kaiser Jackson. Thank you so much. Always appreciate you. This helped a lot because by the time I did this anthology, I had produced and released, let's see, Lord. Bless Not Stress was known as Love Him Like I Do. So that was a popular reiteration of that first faith fiction story. That first faith fiction story has gone through so many different names. And I will actually next month, I'll go ahead and spoil the surprise. Next month, Bless Not Stress is my book of the month. And we will talk more about that and all the different names it's been through, all the different promotions and stuff like that, because I'm also going to do a series for authors who have been out years ago but are just now getting back on how they can come back and make money off of books they did years ago. So I see a lot of you are liking and following. Thank you. Give me a lot of likes and a lot of hugs, a lot of hearts. I appreciate all the love. Thank you guys so much. I am filming this live, but I am going to snip this because we're going to do better with this social media. Because listen, like I told you, I've been doing this since 1998. I'm not new to social media. I'm new to being in front of the camera and stepping out in front of the camera more. But like I said, this was a great experience that actually helped build that name and build my awareness and put me more onto other faith fiction authors. And I did do another anthology called Soldiers of the Cross with two other guys that appeared in the Soul of a Man anthologies, K.L. Belvin and Maurice M. Gray Jr. I do not have a print copy of that book, unfortunately. It is one of the few. Not only do I not have a copy of the book, even though I published it, I no longer have a license to the material that I produced in that anthology. So I can't even print like a copy for myself. That would be illegal. And I love the fact that I have a company and that people want to support my company. And so I'm not going to, violate that. But now I'm a backpedal into this book right here. This book is the book a lot of people know. A lot of people know this book. A lot of people don't know my name or my connection to said book. But I am going to um, answer a lot of questions, respond to some things while talking about this book that, I've been quiet long enough and I've let some things slide, but I'm going to really tell y'all about how Romance for the Streets came to be. When I initially conceived this book, I actually was supposed to be part of the book under my Dante Sweat name. So if you remember my live from about a week ago, I think I talked to y'all about how come there's never been another Dante Sweat novel after King. Well, this was this was supposed to be the first Dante Sweat book. Quiet is kept. Yeah, this was supposed before King was even thought of. Dante Sweat was supposed to be in this book right here. But what happened was I was building my publishing company. I have been successful self-publishing young adult books. And I wanted to try my hand at street lit. I had been a fan of street lit. I had already successfully managed another author's career that was affiliated with Triple Crown. And I was reached out and went after a couple of more, and I was able to get two of them to be part of the book. And so initially, what was supposed to happen was Romance for the Streets was supposed to be me, Marlon Mikulski, and K. Roland Williams. And I was going to tour under the name Dante Sweat. So it was supposed to be like an open secret because Gerald Imes, remember, was doing teen novels. And see, back in the early 2000s, you had to have a different sweat in them if your writing ranges were too far off. And you figured my bread and butter and the name that most people knew me for was young adult fiction. Faith fiction was kind of, it was on the edge, but it was close enough that people were going to, overlook that. Now, you have to remember, my faith fiction novels have very little to no cursing in them. My faith fiction novels actually follow the same guidelines that I have for myself that my young adult books do. They don't have much cursing in them. No, now, those of you who read Nothing is for Nothing, do not judge me. But my other books have very little to no cussing, very little to no graphic violence or sex scenes or anything like that that would be that would go beyond say PG-13. So that was always the rule when I did these books. I see some of my fellow teachers in here. Shout out to my fellow educators. Thank you so much. But that went along those guidelines. So naturally, if I was going to come in, I see my frat brothers in here, oh 06. Good. Shout out to the good bros. Um, if I was going to go beyond that, I could not do that under my teen name. So initially, I was going to do it under Dante Sweat under this name. And at the time, I just could not get the story together the way I wanted to. I seen what, being the acquisitions editor, being the person that was publishing this book, I got to see what Marlon Mikulski was putting out. I got to see what K. Roland Williams was putting out. And I was like, no, man, I'm not going to go out like that. But I was looking to acquire new artists. I actually had found Ben Blaze was actually part of a reading group that I was in, and he submitted a book to me that he had initially submitted to Triple Crown that they said no to, and I read the book and was like, "What the f is Vicky Stringer thinking?" We've had a lot of those moments, me and her. What the, you know? And I read it, I liked it, and I said I went back to Marlon Mikowski and K. Roland Williams. Even though this is my publishing company, I could have done it if I wanted to. I also had to realize and remember that I was leveraging their names to help sell the book. So this was all a team effort. And anytime you do an anthology, it is a team effort. I said, hey, how would y'all feel if I put this newcomer on? I like the book. I'm gonna make sure it's tight. It's already solid. You already know these guys because you interacted with them on the different chats, and they said yes. And next thing you know, you have this award-winning title out on the market. Fly cover. The title comes from a line in Jay-Z's verse in Money Cash Hoes by DMX, and it's been romance for the streets ever since. So yeah, that's how this came out. We were supposed to do two more books, but things didn't work out the way we didn't work out. But I've always wished them the best on this one. I've always been happy to be proud of this project. Um, why did I not put my name on this book? Well, the reason I didn't put my name on this book as editor is because there's two different types of anthologies you can do. And it doesn't diminish the editor role in this anthology. So we're going to compare this anthology to, I'm just going to grab this copy of Soul of a Man right here. All right. The reason why you see Alyssa Gabriel's name on the marquee as the editor is because she is co-signing the book directly, and it goes as part of her author credit, and she's marketing the book as if it's her book as well. And a lot of times when you have different celebrities or you have different well-known authors that attach their names to anthologies, that is a condition that they do or something they agree to, especially when you're working with major publishers or large independent publishers. One person might take on the editing, they did the big cosign, and then you're getting to try. Like I said here, there's 14 of us. So some of us, even though I was known for writing young adult fiction, a lot of people didn't know that I could write faith fiction or write inspirational work, or some people didn't know who I was still, because yeah, I was, I was respectably popping as an independent author, but I was successful in the Southeast. A lot of people knew me in the West, but a lot of people didn't know me nationwide. I still didn't have that name that got me into all the bookstores yet. So the cosign from her, someone who had been able to go further than I was a wonderful thing. So this was a true collaborative effort. That's not to say that this was not. When you do books like this, typically the editor is in the background. All right. So I was the acquisitions editor. I own Abednego Spree, Tinsley Phelps, a barcode right here, the ISBN number that's on the back of this barcode. I own that number. So as acquisitions editor, I was the lead editor on this project. Yes, I hired a well-respected developmental and content editor. Yes, there were other editors that worked on the project, but I was still the lead editor. I was still the lead publisher, lead financer. But when you have a book title like this, where you typically have, and it's usually when you don't have more than 5 names, because when you guys, okay, so a little background knowledge about publishing real quick. When you publish a book, most stores that shall remain nameless but are well known, most stores, most distributors only allow you to list up to 5 authors. Some even limit it to 3, but they let you list up to 5 authors. So a lot of times what happens is if you have a book where you have, say, 20 people contributing, some major publishers will do the top 5, but you don't really see anthologies from major publishers like that. You usually see, you might see a duo book where one person wrote one half and the other person wrote one half, another half. And when I'm talking about those books, those are like your full figured anthologies from Carl Weber, some of his side hustle anthologies. Your Around the Way Girl anthologies are more um, 3 different authors. So it counts as your catalog. So this book, even though it's an anthology, it counts as your catalog. It counts as my catalog as the editor. This book counts as my catalog as a contributor. So my role as a contributor on this book is not any less than an author on this book. It's just the marquee is different. But of course, I had three people contributing about. I want to say this anthology is between 70 and 80,000 words. I don't remember right off bat, but of course they wrote more. My contribution was closer to 8K. I wrote one of the longer pieces in this anthology, but this wasn't about being the marquee author on it. Both are good because, like I said, if you're trying to build your catalog with the anthologies, this route is good because your name is on the marquee and you get that instant credit. This is good too. Now, on one major book selling platform, what they do typically is when you have, like, say, a plethora of people, as long as your name is on the cover, or as long as your name is credited in the copyright tab, when they put all that information in, it eventually link up. And a lot of times, what I can say, and I know I'm not giving a clear answer because I am filming this live. For those of you who are watching on another platform, I am filming this live, and unfortunately, I have to be careful how I describe this on one of the platforms. So I don't need it to get flagged. I've been talking about anthologies and my involvement with anthology, and I still got to get back. I still got to get into one more after this. I've been talking about this for 26 minutes now, and I haven't been flagged. So let's keep it up. Continue those likes, continue those hearts. But on behind scenes thing, you do get credit for it. And I think that's what I want to boil down and say. You do get the credit for it, but it's credited differently. But it still counts as your book. It still fits in your catalog. So if you were to say, like, for example, one of my claims is, or something I could prove rather, I wrote or co-authored 50 books under my name. This counts as one of my 50. So does this. I don't flex this one too hard because I got the 50 without it, but I would not be lying if I said this version, this book is one of them. All right. So I really like to see more authors get together and collab. Now, another anthology or series like collaboration you see people do, you see it more with romance novelists. And I was not able to participate in one of those. I've talked about it. We are still, me and a couple of people, we're still talking about it, but we have not gotten it to pass yet. Is where, and you see it more with Harlequin. You might have a theme and you get three authors together, and the characters, they may come together to create a universe where the characters know each other and they are in this set of books. I'm gonna try to pull one up real quick. Like, let me pull up somebody I'm on. They good. I got good feelings and vibes with. Hold on, real quick. I'm gonna give y'all one. Doo-doo-doo. Nope, this is not Dead Space. I am. Before I talk about where to play as well, I actually want to talk about something. Like I said, Harlequin does it frequently. I'm actually going to talk about a project that Wayne Jordan did. Give me just a moment, y'all. Let me look this up because if I'm presenting information, especially since I know I'm live and in the moment, I still want it to be right because I want to be able to. Okay, so he did an anthology. Wayne Jordan, shout out to him. Thank you for everything, all your love and support. Um, you, he's one of the first black male romance novelists that was signed to Harlequin, along with Devon Von Archer. Respect, love to you too, man. I really appreciate everything y'all have done for me. If you're watching this, um, but Wayne Jordan teamed up with. I'm actually going to open the ebook version of the book. I have to be careful, so I can't show y'all this because this is not my copyrighted material. But because I am teaching a lesson, I am referencing where I'm getting this information from. He teamed up with, they did this anthology called Decades, a journey of African American romance. And they done, it was a collaboration where it was like, I want to say it was like 12 of them. They did from 1900 to 2010. And yeah, so many of these authors are popping up now. Keith Thomas Walker, Cheryl Lister, um, Suzette D. Harrison. Let me see. Can I make this bigger? Kiana Alexandra L. Wright, Lindsay Evans, Kia Daniel. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, Kia Daniel, but it was a nice number of them. Each of them took a decade and they wrote a novel to fulfill a decade. So when I was given the example about Harlequin and their themes, that's kind of what they do. They get a theme and they get two, well, usually it's three to five authors, and they do a series, and it's done that way. That is another way to do an anthology. Now, and I can show y'all because I know he's not going to get upset. Glad I have a good relationship with him. I'm gonna show y'all. Promise Me a Dream. This was the 1960s anthology that he done. So he was in charge of 1960s decade. Um, and so each of them took a decade and then they wrote a novel that way. That is another way to get an anthology across. And it's a smart way too, because um you can, you have like I said, it was like 10 or 12 of these guys. I can't remember because I don't have the exact marketing flyer in front of me. You have 10 or 12 people pumping the same set of books. And usually when you're in those kind of series like that, if you follow Brenda Jackson, you kind of have a better idea of what I'm talking about. She's done plenty with all kinds of authors. You can really get out here and introduce yourself to new people. You put your fans onto them, they put your fans onto you. It's a win-win because guess what? Contrary to popular belief, just because you write a book doesn't mean that you can only, or just because you read a book doesn't mean that you can only be fans of one author. There are thousands of us out here. And I quote her a lot, and she knows this. Shonda Whitaker said it best: there is enough room for all of us. And no, I don't have to write the same thing she's writing. You don't have to write the same things I'm writing. You don't even have to like what I'm writing because guess what? It's someone out there that's going to, do that for you. But the anthologies, my whole point, anthologies are great exposure for, getting yourselves out there. So, in closing, because I think I have yapped long enough, thank you guys for staying with me. Thank you for your hearts, loves. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow me on all the platforms. And total, well, not this one. This is my literary, obviously, why I wrote this book. This is my literary journey. Check me out, Isaiah David Paul. I talk more about these anthologies in here. These books, most of them are still in print. You can get them on print and an ebook wherever your books are sold. This is a good way to build a catalog. So when I say I got to 50 books, this is one, two, three, four, five. It's 10% of my 50. I think anthologies count towards 10% of my 50. Oh, let me not forget. I heard you. I heard you. They was like, how come you're not gonna talk about? No, we're not. I appreciate my Cedric Quincy fans. Y'all know I love y'all. I give y'all a hard time. Y'all give me a hard time back. But this collab is another collab where now this collab is different. This is the last type of collab. I'm gonna have to redo this video to make it more informational, but oh well. Yes, I have a print copy of this book, old school print copy of this book. It's in my room somewhere. I just got done teaching a bunch of elementary school kids, so don't ask me where that book is now. I just know it's in the room, and I thought I had it with the other ones. But yes, this was four of us getting together to write a novel. So this is not a true anthology in that sense of the word because we were going to do other books. That was the plan, but we all didn't quite get together and do that. But you had four of us marketing and promoting this book. And at the time the original version of this book came out, hey man, hey, it was wild out there. It was nice, nice and lovely. But four of us collabed on a novel. I'm gonna have to do a whole separate video talking about how you collab with people on a novel. But hey, to this day, people they meet. Listen, this is what happens. You see these four names on here. Cedric Quincy's mine. Tyson Anthony Carter J Banks. Sorry, Jackson Grant. Jackson Grant has at least, oh God, I think he close to 50 books himself, or he's right at 50 books, or this next book he's got coming out later this month or beginning of next month is book 50, something like that. He got 50 books. Tyson Anthony got all those books and a couple of web series, Tyson Plus. So for those who like that kind of spicy adult content, that's him. Yes, this same Tyson Anthony that is responsible for the About Him book, the About Him phenom that really turned YouTube into a wonderful place to be a Black independent filmmaker. Him. Yes, this is another way to get an anthology out, y'all, or to do another collabo book. I'm gonna talk about collaborating on a novel later because this one is a novel. So while it's not a true anthology, because this is a full length novel, it is still a collaborative effort and a good way to continue building your catalogs. So now we're gonna end the video for real this time, y'all. I've enjoyed y'all. Thank y'all for staying with me for almost 40 minutes as I talked about anthologies and collaborations and controversies and all kinds of other things. Most collaborations have been wonderful. You every now and then you have your ones that not, but like I said, people are not gonna know who you are if you're not getting out there. And if you can't get into somebody else's anthology, create your own. Find a way to create your own. Because even though in 2020s everybody's in the me, myself, and I generation, this is still an era where the right collab can put you in front of people who have never met you before. And that's one of the things I can say that I've truly loved about being part of the anthologies I've been part of. I have been able to meet with and team up with people who I would have never thought of or even thought possible to link up with otherwise. Hope you like, comment, share, continue giving me hearts. Thank you for the love. I really, really appreciate y'all staying with me this long. This is your boy, Isaiah David Paul, out. Thank you for no restrictions. Yay. All right, y'all. Be good. Peace.